Let's talk about factorizing. Now, factorizing is just the opposite of the distributive property. To put it in simple terms, the distributive property basically states that if you have an equation that looks something like this, so you have a term on the outside and then you have parentheses with something on the inside, you can distribute the term on the outside to the terms on the inside, like that. And all you have to do is you have to multiply them. So this is going to be x times x plus x times 2. So this right here is this, and this right here is this. And so this is equal to x squared plus 2x. And factorizing is the opposite of this. So we need to go from here to here. And the way to do that is to search for similar terms. And so in both of these terms, there's an x, and there's only one x, since the exponent here is going to be a 1. And since both of them have one x, you can factor out the 1x. So this will become, so when we factor out the x, we're going to divide all of the parts with x. So we divide x here and divide x here. So the x cancels out, and here's a 1. And so we're left with x plus 2. So this is the factorized answer. And so we got back our original answer. Let's look at some practice problems. So let's say we have 16x squared plus 12x. Now this is slightly different to the last problem. In the last problem, the only thing similar was the x. But here, you have some numbers that are similar as well. The best way to find if the numbers can be factored is to do the prime factorization. So 16 is going to be 2 to the 4, and this is x squared, plus 12 is going to be 2 squared times 3x. So in both of them, you'll have one x, so this is 1, but we're going to have another x, so that's why it's x squared. So, but we can still take out 1x. And then we have 2 squared. So we can take out 2 squared times x, and 2 squared is just 4. So we can take out 4x. And now we have to divide each of these terms by 4x. So 16x squared divided by 4x is going to be 4x. So we have 4x on the inside plus 12x divided by 4x is going to be, the x's will cancel out, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. So the factored form is 4x times 4x plus 3. Let's look at another practice problem. Let's say we have 36x cubed plus 24x squared. Now, instead of having to do the prime factorization each time, you can try and notice common factors. First, let's look at the x. So we have x squared in both of them, and we're going to be left with 1x here. For the numbers, we can try and look for common factors. A common factor to both 36 and 24 is 12. 12 times 3 is 36, and 12 times 2 is 24. So we can factor out the 12, and we can factor out the x squared, since the x squared is in both. So we can factor out 12x squared. And then we have to do 36x cubed divided by 12x squared. So this is going to be 3x, and 24x squared divided by 12x squared. This is going to be 2. So we're left with 12x squared times 3x plus 2. So this is our factorized form. Well, let's look at one final example. Let's say we have 120 x to the power of 5 plus 64 x to the power of 3 minus 36 x to the power of 4. One thing different about this problem is that we have a negative here, but everything still is the exact same. So there's an x cubed in all of them, and we can search for common factors here. And one common factor is 4. So there's a 4 times 30, 4 times 16, and 4 times 9. And between 16, 9, and 30, there are no common factors. So we know the number that we have to factor out is 4. And we know the x that we have to factor out is x cubed. So we can factor out 4x cubed. And so we'll divide 120 x to the power of 5 divided by 4x cubed. So this is 30x squared. So we have 30x squared plus, then we can do 64x cubed divided by 4x cubed, or yeah, 4x cubed. 64x cubed divided by 4x cubed. X cubes cancel out, and this is 16. Plus 16 minus 36x to the 4. Let's try doing this one in our heads. So 36 divided by 4 is 9, and x to the 4th divided by x to the 3 is x. So this is our final answer. Once you get faster with this process, you'll be able to do the entire thing in your head, and you won't have to do all of this work. Now, factorizing can be a little bit complicated, so this requires a lot of practice. I'll link the practice worksheet and its answers in the comment section, so make sure to go check those out.